Welcome back to Snetterton, race 2 of the weekend in Lotus Cup Europe. The race being led by John Walker, but you've got a number of drivers recovering after dramas at the start of the race, or indeed in the case of Gavin Kirby, the race 1 winner pre-race when he was found to have a technical infringement and was put to the back of the grid. One of those drivers recovering, Tom Chataway in the white 211 you just caught a glimpse of there, going through the S's, working his way back up to the front of the field as this great little fight here between the 211s drops down towards the Russell chicane. Number 49 just at the head of the battle is Laurent Febvre, and right up behind him is Steve Williams. And Steve, somebody that was very quick years ago in the Lotus on Track Elite Trophy. Got as far as the modified class of that, has switched to a 211 this year, and Steve Williams, who's always one of the front runners, is right there looking for a way past. Over the line come the rest of them. Gavin Kirby, having worked his way into the top 10, still hunting down more places, and indeed Steve Williams is his next target, and this will be the battle for 7th place. Kirby is 8th, Williams is 7th ahead of him. That's the race leader though, John Walker, former Caterham champion, and indeed he's splitting his season between the Caterham R300 Championship and Lotus Cup Europe, so he's doing an awful lot of racing in sports cars this year. British sports cars as well, I'm glad to say. And as he turns his way up towards the bomb hole, it looks as though he's on target now for a second win of the season, because Gavin Kirby and John Walker really have been the 2 star turns in the series this year. And with Gavin Kirby put to the back of the grid for this race, that means that it's an easier time up front for John Walker. And Gavin Kirby, look, he's already ahead of Steve Williams, so he's made short work of that. And it means that Gavin Kirby now is up into 7th position. Great driving this by Gavin Kirby. How much higher up the field can he get? He should be able to do at least 6th place before the very end. There's the race leader, John Walker, working his way through the traffic. He's moving ahead of Markus Nikovic, the man from Munich, with his Elise S1. 4 classes in the series, incidentally. The 211s, the quicker cars, have their own class. You've got the Exige Cup, which is for the Exige model, then the Lotus Cup Europe production class for standard Elise S1 and S2 models, and there's also the invitation class for the cars that run with non-standard engines. Now there, Gavin Kirby up into the top 6 now. He's just got himself up and past Laurent Febvre. But that invitation class is for cars, for example, that don't have Lotus engines. Many of the Exiges that are in that class, for example, running with Honda power. Gavin Kirby, though, the 211 up now into the top 6. And he's pulling away from Laurent Febvre as he accelerates down towards the S's. Can he get further than 6th before the end of the race? May need 1 or 2 to have dramas ahead of him, but we'll wait and see how it all pans out. As this is Philippe Loup's view. Down he comes towards the S's. That's Thierry Verheijst ahead of him, the Lotus dealer. Brakes for the S's, turns his way left and then right, but Chataway goes through. Tom Chataway gains another place. He was a spinner early on in the race, Tom Chataway. He was delayed, Scott Cruikshank was delayed as well, and now Tom Chataway working his way back towards the sharp end of the field. Gavin Kirby down now towards Russell. Uses the curve, brakes as late as he possibly can, keeps the revs up all the time, slingshots his way out of Russell. As behind him there, the battle that's been raging on all race really between Laurent Febvre and Steve Williams continues. Now Kirby has caught both of them, he's passed both of them, and he's pulled away from both of them. They're still battling. The Simon Deacon is in the pit lane with a problem. His 211 looking as though it may not be going any further. 1-2-2 though there. Greg Race, after a pit stop, trying to work his way up the order. Carl Vivian ahead, the French driver with his Exige Cup 260, and indeed the 2 of them cross the line absolutely together as they go now towards Riches. Somebody off there, that is number 2, Matt Johnson, the man who won his drive in this car thanks to a competition in the Sun newspaper, and he's had a spin up at Sear Corner. Matt Johnson recovering, as in the meantime 1-4-2, the orange Exige here. John Race, the man that leads the Exige Cup class, worked his way through Russell. And he's also having to be mindful here of the traffic ahead of him, because there's Markus Nikovic with the Elise S1 ahead. A bit wayward was the man from Munich as they went through Russell, so John Race now goes ahead of him, but Nikovic just being a little bit unruly as he turned his way through Russell up towards the line that time. John Race, there he is, working his way through the back markers. Mark Yates with his production class Elise is next ahead of him. Mark Yates' car keeps out of the way. Road registered, you see, his everyday transport as well as a race car. Great little battle though going on here for 7th, 8th and 9th overall. The 211s have got themselves together. There's Laurent Febvre ahead of Tom Chataway and then Steve Williams. So again, the Febvre-Williams battle is interrupted by a recovering 211, and Tom Chataway has split them. They come over the line up towards Riches now, and Laurent Febvre in the orange car there turns his way through the right-hander. Tom Chataway, who started 3rd on the grid and would have been going a lot better were it not for that early spin in the race. And then you've got the car of Steve Williams, the yellow 211 next in the queue, and Steve Williams not really being able to stay on the tail of Tom Chataway for the moment, and therefore it's Laurent Febvre having to defend his place as he goes down the Revit straight. Steve Williams just not able to be part of that battle for the moment. Down they come towards the S's. Chataway to the inside, there's loads of racing room given to him, and through he goes. That was a pretty easy pass, and so Tom Chataway now works his way further up the order. Another place picked off as he goes ahead of Laurent Febvre. 7th is Chataway now, but he's behind Gavin Kirby as they turn out of the bomb hole up towards Coram Curve. Chataway, like Kirby, having to try to overtake for position and worry about the traffic, and Steve Williams all of a sudden has woken up to the fact that he might be able to go through as well, and he's done it! Going through Coram, having been a long way back on the Revit straight, all of a sudden he probably thought, well, Kirby's done it, Chataway's done it, why can't I do it? And so suddenly, Steve Williams becomes all brave, gains the place off Laurent Febvre, and in fact, Febvre is dropping back a little bit, is on board with Philippe Loop, and somebody off ahead of him, that's Thierry Verheijs, look, bouncing all over the grass coming out of Coram. You tend not to have small moments if you go off there. Hopefully Verheijs is going to get back onto the tarmac without involving anybody else in that. So Tom Chataway has gained 2 places, Steve Williams has gained 1, and Laurent Febvre there dropping back, but has he got a problem? That car is wilting, isn't it? As somebody is parked by the side of the road, and that, by the look of it, is a retirement for the Exige of Klaus Reckart, and a spin coming out of Sear. 53, that is, getting it all wrong. Chris Mayhew, he's avoided. He's going to be able to rejoin, but Klaus Reckart's car so close to the edge of the road, I just fear for its survival there. Yes, the safety car being deployed, and so John Walker's enormous advantage is going to be whittled away, except for the fact that the safety car there doesn't pick up the leader quite. There are 2 back markers behind it, so everybody will slow down. No overtaking is permitted whilst the safety car is deployed like this, and hopefully the race officials will shuffle the order around so that you've got the correct car, yes you have now, behind the pace car. So there is the leader, John Walker, and the man that's behind him is Mark Goudet, and then in 3rd place it is Scott Cruikshank, and in 4th is Christophe Lisson. Now this helps Gavin Kirby a little bit, because even though he can't make places up under the safety car, what he can do, of course, is get closer to the opposition. He no longer has to try and reduce the deficit, he can just drive around in the queue, and all the gaps are whittled away ahead of him. Now there are lots of back markers he's got to get past, but Gavin Kirby, let's just see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars, I think, between him and his next opposition. So they've all bunched up. If Gavin Kirby is really quick off the restart, he should be able to rattle his way through the traffic and then start to challenge for 5th place before the end. Safety car peels in, green flag is waved, 2 more minutes on the clock. That should be 2 laps. This and 1 more then as they go across the line. Down towards Riches. The race leader is John Walker, Mark Goudet 2nd, and then the red 211 of Scott Cruikshank is 3rd. Cruikshank, remember, was delayed at Russell early on, trying to avoid Tom Chataway when he was spinning, and this is Philippe Loop's view as he has to scythe his way through the traffic. Gets past the production class cars, turns his way now through Riches, and you can see what a crowded house it is ahead of him. But for John Walker, the race leader, he's just driving off into the distance once again. He's got much the quicker 211 within that leading trio, and he's also got a clear road ahead of him, so not for him is the worry of traffic. He can just get on with his own race here, but a small error made into the S's, the car a little bit sideways. Recovers from that, powers his way from the S's now towards the bomb hole, and John Walker had a win at the Nürburgring, a very different sort of a venue. Snetterton is going to give him his 2nd win of the season, and he's been successful in Caterham racing this year as well in the R300. So John Walker having a hugely successful 2010 comes from the right-hander of Coram. That's Cruikshank going off though from 3rd place. Scott Cruikshank suddenly exits stage left, all over the grass, avoids hitting the barriers, gets it back onto the road. Thought for a moment maybe a tyre had gone down that pitched him off the circuit so viciously like that, but it looks okay. So Scott Cruikshank back onto the track, up towards the line comes John Walker, and he's just got time for 1 more lap here. Goudet goes through in 2nd place, and this is Philippe Loop still working his way through back markers as he comes down towards Russell, and some of that traffic not being hugely cooperative and getting in his way a bit, look. For the last time though, John Walker turns his way out of Riches up towards Sear. Built up a lead early on, he had that whittled away under the safety car, but with only a couple of laps to the restart, John Walker has just driven off into the distance once again. Mark Goudet, best of the rest in 2nd place. David Jacobs' Exige turns its way out of Riches up towards Sear. David Jacobs isn't going to be a class winner, but he wants a good podium in class like he had in race 1 out of this. This is the aim, but up alongside him, look, is Greg Race, and after his pit stop in 1-2-2, Greg Race, the white Exige, is going to move through ahead of him. 3 corners to go effectively now for John Walker. This is the first of them. Through the bomb hole, Mark Gooday there, look, in second place. Now, what about for third? After Scott Cruikshank went off the road, it is now Christophe Lissandre up into third place, and Cruikshank is fourth. John Race with the Exige is fifth overall, and Gavin Kirby is sixth on this, the last lap. Through Russell comes John Walker. A second win of the season is going to go his way in Motor Lotus Cup Europe. Up towards the checkered flag, a win at Snetterton in glorious conditions here for John Walker, who comes across the line to take the checkered flag to win. Second is Mark Gooday. The gap between them at the end, 2.211 seconds. Seems appropriate, doesn't it? But it's a margin flattered a little bit by the safety car. Within third, Christophe Lissandre getting better and better each time we see him. So confirmation of the way the top three came across the line. John Walker, Mark Gooday and Christophe Lissandre. Behind them, Cruikshank was fourth, John Race, the class winner, fifth, and Gavin Kirby sixth from Stone last on the grid. The 2:11 top three, Walker, Gooday and Lissandre, the two Brits ahead of the French driver. In the Exige class, John Race wins ahead of Olivier Agary, and David Jacobs taking his third place of the weekend. The production class, a second win for Pat McBennett ahead of Dan Plant and Mark Yates, but a different winner this time around in the invitation class is BJ Chong on top ahead of Cliff Fox and then Stephen Grove.
John, a fantastic result for you, seeing you up there first place on the podium.
I'm very, very pleased. I'm a little bit disappointed in a way that Gavin Kirby's problems prevented him from starting in his proper position on the grid, because I was really looking forward to another good battle with Gavin, but that'll have to wait for another day. But it goes without saying, I'm extremely pleased to have a good race and a good win.
John, 2 trophies and a race win. Did you enjoy that?
Of course, yes. So last time it was my brother, so it's my turn today, and I won, sorry. So I enjoyed a lot. It was very fun, very fun.
Pat, a double win for you. Can't get better than that.
Yeah, delighted. I've never won a race or won a class in over here before. I think I got a couple of third places in modified last year in Elite Trophy, so it's great, a win.
BJ, a fantastic result. It's great to see you up there on the podium.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with that, Gemma. Yeah, thanks.
Did you enjoy the race?
Yeah, it was quite eventful. Stayed out of trouble in the first couple of laps and then broke away. And after that, it was just keeping up with everyone else. So, yeah, pleasing.
That's it from us here at Snetterton, and I'll tell you what, it's been an absolutely awesome weekend's racing. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. We'll see you next time.